What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Skull Network. My name is Nick, and welcome back to the weekly NFL Picks segment on the channel. This marks week number 10, and just to get it out of the way, week 9 kicked everybody's ass. The amount of upsets that there were, no one really could have predicted that. So right now on screen is my record from last week, and now on screen is my current overall record. Both probably not very good at this point. As per usual, we have some teams on bye. That's going to be these guys right over here. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the picks for this week. Kicking things off on Thursday Night Football, we have the Ravens versus the Dolphins. Now, the Ravens, they didn't have the greatest showing in the first half last week against the Vikings, but they really turned on the Jets in the second half and showed what team they really can be. And this is going to be one of the easier Thursday night matchup picks that I've had this season because, come on, it's the Dolphins. You're either going to have Tua or Jacoby Brissett back there going up against Lamar Jackson. I don't need to waste any more time on this. The Ravens are going to be taking this one without question. Up next is probably going to be one of the better games of the week with the Patriots and the Browns. Now, the Browns kicked ass against the Bengals, and the Patriots just continued their hot streak. Didn't really have a problem with Carolina, and, well, it looks like Nick Chubb might be out again. So Dearness Johnson should be a viable option for fantasy if you are short on running backs, but I do think that is going to hinder this team. I know we performed very well last time, but I just feel a setback coming, and I honestly really just do like the Patriots right now. I mean, Mac Jones is playing very safe football. That defense is playing very well, and they just really aren't a team that a lot of people want to play, and I think that is going to continue through this week. I'm going to be taking the Patriots on this one. Up next is the Colts and the Jaguars. Now, don't get so excited about the Jaguars if you live in Jacksonville. That was a one-off. I still don't understand how that Bills game happened, but regardless, the Jaguars are going to fall back down to earth this week against a pretty damn good Colts offense. Michael Pittman Jr., as I said last week, emerging as the star wide receiver in this league, and Jonathan Taylor is showing why he is probably a top 5 running back in this league, and I don't think the Colts are going to have too much trouble with this one in an AFC South battle. Give me the Colts. Up next is the Bills and the Jets, and like I said, the Bills game was a one-off. Not sure if Mike White will be playing, but regardless, I think that the Bills have a bounce back here. Get back to their dominant ways. I think I'm going to take the Bills here over the Jets. Up next is the Steelers and the Lions, and while the Steelers didn't play the prettiest game on Monday Night Football, at least from what I heard, I personally didn't get to watch it, this is still the Lions that we're talking about. They still are struggling against damn near everybody, not really putting up much of a fight at all, especially as of late. And it just seems like I'm picking a lot of the favorites or the easy ones here, but come on, these are just so easy. Give me the Steelers in this one. Up next is the Saints and the Titans. Now, the Saints, how are you going to go and lose to the Calvin Ridley-less Falcons? I mean, that is just embarrassing. And the Titans, they have been beating great teams left and right over the last 4 weeks. And it doesn't really seem like they have signs of slowing down. Yeah, Ryan Tannehill didn't play the greatest game on Sunday Night Football, but hey, you still went and you took out the Los Angeles Rams, who I still think are one of the best teams in football. And again, the Saints are just one of those teams that are just so volatile. You never know what you're going to get from them, so you don't know. Maybe they could go and have 500 yards of total offense against the Tennessee Titans, but I just personally don't see it this week. I don't know. The Trevor Siemian / Taysom Hill show, I don't think it's going to, progress very well throughout the rest of the season. Give me the Titans in this one. Up next is the Falcons and the Cowboys. Now, the Falcons, they definitely surprised me, and the Cowboys, I think they surprised everyone. You get Dak Prescott back, and somehow you regress. How does that even happen? Now, I don't think that's a major talking point to say that the Cowboys are falling off a cliff right now. I honestly do think Dak was a little rusty, and I don't really like the Falcons a ton still. I understand they played very well, but I think the Cowboys are going to have a bounce back week here. Again, it seems like I'm picking the easy teams, but I just don't see the Cowboys playing that poorly 2 weeks in a row. Give me the Cowboys. Up next, we have the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. And yeah, the Vikings are not playing very good football at all. There's a lot of things I don't like about this team. But, I mean, the Chargers haven't been playing quite as well as we've expected them to. Does that mean I have a ton of faith for the Vikings going into this week? No, not really. Not even anything close to that at all. But I'm going to continue to have faith in this team. But if we have one more week of the Ravens game and other sorts of games like that, then I might have to start picking other teams. But for right now, I'm going to take the Vikings here. As I keep saying, I'm not trying to pick all the easiest teams, but when you have the Buccaneers versus the Washington football team, this is not going to be the same matchup that happened in last year's wild card round. Come on. Washington's defense has regressed so much since that point, and Tampa Bay is still just on another stratosphere. Tom Brady is still just lighting it up week in and week out. As much as I'd love to go and pick an upset at some point during this week, I got to take Tampa Bay. Up next is the Cardinals and the Panthers. And come on, this can't get much easier. The Panthers, they're towards the bottom of the league now in just about everything that you can imagine. And the Cardinals went without Kyler Murray and without DeAndre Hopkins, with Colt McCoy in, losing Chase Edmonds, and still handled business very easily. Come on, give me the Cardinals in this one. Up next is the Seahawks and the Packers. Now this one's going to be a little closer, I think. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is playing, but we do know that Russell Wilson will be. Now, if it's Jordan Love playing, we saw how that went against a poor Kansas City team, and the Packers still just weren't able to really do much until the end of the game. Now, I do think Russell Wilson probably will be a little rusty, but I mean, come on. It's going to be a major upgrade over Geno Smith. Unless Aaron Rodgers plays, I honestly don't think the Packers have a great shot here. So, tentatively, I'm going to take the Seahawks, but if news comes out that Aaron Rodgers is playing, I'll consider changing my pick and I'll make a community post on that. Up next is one of the more toss-up games of the week, I think, with the Eagles versus the Broncos. Broncos went and just absolutely took care of business against the Cowboys somehow last week. As far as the Eagles, they remain one of those more volatile teams. You just don't know what you're going to get. You know that Jalen Hurts isn't going to play well, but somehow they're going to be in a lot of these games. And with that being said, I was just very impressed by how the Broncos defense played, even after losing probably their best player in Von Miller. The Broncos offense played very well, and the Eagles, on the other hand, I honestly just don't know what I'm going to get with them. Boston Scott didn't play very well. Of course, Jalen Hurts didn't. That defense still has holes. I'm going to be going with the Denver Broncos on this one, but I will not be surprised if the Eagles pull this one out, because I just don't know what you get with them. Up next is the Chiefs and the Raiders. Now, I understand the Raiders lost to the Giants. The Chiefs barely beat a Jordan Love-led Packers team, and that is unacceptable at this point. Yeah, you put it up in the win column, but come on, let's be honest here. The Chiefs, they're just playing so poorly. And yes, this is an interdivision matchup, so I do expect it to be close. But all signs here are pointing towards the Raiders. They're just the better team right now. They're playing a lot better. But I'm going to go with what I consider the upset. I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs here. I finally think that Patrick Mahomes is able to get back to somewhat of what we know. And I just think that the absence of Henry Ruggs really did kind of do the Raiders in last week. I don't know. I mean, there's not much else you can say when you lose to the Giants, so I'm going to technically pick an upset by picking the Kansas City Chiefs. And rounding out the week, we have the Rams versus the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Now, the 49ers, like I said earlier, you got absolutely torched by Colt McCoy, no DeAndre Hopkins, and no Chase Edmonds. You let James Conner come in and run all over you, and that is not a good sign when you're going up against one of the best teams in the league. I understand the Rams really did not play well at home. Like, it was not even close. Matthew Stafford basically took himself out of the MVP conversation. But this is one of those situations, kind of like I've talked about earlier in this video. I think the Rams would very much bounce back. And now the 49ers are without Mike McGlinchey for the rest of the season, which is a huge blow to the offensive line. Like, just absolutely massive. I think that the Rams are going to get a lot of pressure on Jimmy G, cause a lot of problems, and I think they're going to take this one. And that's going to wrap up Week 10 picks, everyone. If you thought any of these picks were great or awful, whatever your thoughts are, make sure you leave a comment down below, and maybe we'll discuss it out, see if we can come to an agreement on anything. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the button down below to subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like as well. If you want to share this video with anyone, you can do that with anyone on any platform, and if it's a crack dealer on the corner, that's your best option. You guys already know. My name's Nick, and I'll see you guys all in the recap between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers coming out on Sunday. Adios.